Hello and welcome to the latest video review for The Wind and the Willows. This week, Bankruptcy. Great one from Series 2. Another great autumn episode, and yes, I remember it well, not from early childhood as such, but I certainly discovered it when Channel 5 repeated it. It's a good one, typical one in the sense of the weasels cheating Toad, but I do like it. It's got some great moments and some lovely animation in it. So yeah, let's get cracking on that. I'm going to press play right now. There we go. So, like I say, Bankruptcy from Series 2. I mentioned in the last video, I think, that there was a song written for this that is available on the CD that Pluto Music put out. The Songs and Music CD, and the song's called When I'm a Millionaire, sung by Toad, and it was obviously cut, not used in the episode, but I'd love to see it animated. I mean, wouldn't that be wonderful to be able to somehow animate that one day? You know, that's kind of a dream of mine, but I don't think I'll ever do it. But yeah, it's a good episode. It's one that echoes one or two others where the weasels dress as other, you could say posh people or gentlemen trying to cheat Toad, and you always wonder how on earth can be Toad be so stupid as to not recognise him time after time. But look at this beautiful opening. It's so beautifully done in terms of autumn, all the oranges and the different colours we've got. One thing that always admires me about Brian Truman is, even though his scripts are so witty, he was also so careful to make sure that the season is set properly, you know, as in the right flowers are mentioned and the plants are correct for the time of year. And I think there's just a really careful nod to autumn with the lighting in this episode. Even in this opening shot, there's a certain orange glow over the weasels there. We don't often start with the weasels, so it's quite a refreshing change in that sense.
You'll keep your mind on crime if you know what's good for you. There's richer pickings than eggs and bacon. Oh, but shut.
Some great dialogue between the two in this one. And here we've got Billy Rabbit. Now, I love Billy Rabbit. It's such a lovely character in that classic. That's what I call his classic outfit. It's so simple though. It's just a red jumper, and of course, Billy Rabbit was among the puppets recently reunited with the archive, and I visited it a while back. So yeah, it was a pleasure to see them. And Billy Rabbit himself, I never ever dreamt I'd ever come to face with the original Billy Rabbit puppet. I assume there was probably only one of them, but the red jumper exists still as well, so it's just lovely. Weasels, of course, as well. There's a few. Now notice what he's whistling. The Open Road. Nice little touch, that classic song from the film. I love things like this where you got David Jason with David Jason, of course. And this, of course, echoes an earlier episode, although one I haven't reviewed it yet. One I'm reviewing soon, actually. Yeah. The next one, funnily enough, The Weasel's Trap, where the weasels are bullying Billy. And it's more menacing than it is here. This is a little bit tamer. But they actually hold him almost at ransom in the weasel's trap. But it's well composed, it's well directed. See how they're towering over the rabbit. And yet the chief is always made to look, he's still towering slightly over the henchmen. So it's really good posing of the characters. I love how Billy says the financial times is trying to disguise the fact that it's financial times. And that the fact that the chief will then pronounces it exactly the same way. Poor little Billy, he's trying his best not to. He's kind of helping Toad out. He's kind of looking ahead and realising that the weasels will get up to no good. The only thing with episodes like this is they are kind of one-offs in terms of the events that happen. The fact that, you know, Toad's getting papers delivered by Billy Rabbit, I mean, I say he's Billy Rabbit, we assume he's Billy. No one refers to him as Billy. Chief Weasel simply called him the paper boy. And we've seen other rabbits that have been used, you could say generic rabbits, with the same voice, a bit like the delivery rabbit and Toad Photographer. In fact, while I'm talking now, it's reminded me a little bit like Miss Rabbit in Peppa Pig. If you ever see that, she has multiple roles and does many things. So it's a little bit like that. You've got this generic rabbit that we think of as Billy Rabbit, but he actually pops up as kind of different characters in a way. And here we are in Toad Hall. So we've got a classic scene with eating and lounging about. And it's very clear now that Toad's craze in this one is stocks and shares. So he's interested in making more money than he's got already. Kind of reminds me of like real life in a sense, people with tons of money. It's that cliche, isn't it? You know, you just want more and more. But it's interesting because I always thought of as Toad as a millionaire anyway. I always felt he was as rich as that. But going by this, he's saying, oh, he wants to be a millionaire. So it kind of suggests he's got a lot of money, but not quite as much as you would perhaps think. Maybe with his assets, with Toad Hall, he's a millionaire. On paper, as it were. I do love Toad's costume in this. Look at that. It's like a kind of smoking jacket. The Badger, of course, has one. We see it from time to time, but not that often. It's very, very nice. It's very apt, I think, for this episode. The fact that it's about money and being rich, and he already looks extremely rich, doesn't he?
You're not coming with us, Toad.
No. I have to study market trends.
Toad's coming out with all these terms, and he's not really, of course, being Toad, he doesn't know what they're all about.
Rich as rich, Well, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's funny when you see other times where the weasels peer through the window. They don't always hold plants to their head. I mean, they do in the beginning of Hall for Sale, which is a similar setup to this episode in terms of, you know, the weasels cheating Toad dressed as gentlemen. And I like that. It's very dramatic here. This sense that something bad is about to happen. Toad's going to be in trouble. Selection of the music, it's kind of that haunting music from I think Ghouls and Ghosts or Winter Haunts. There's Toad in his classic checkered outfit. Two of them, I believe, are made, and both of which now exist in the archive. That's good. And Weasel's dress. I mean, look at their costumes. They're kind of, they've done their best to be smart, but look how rough and, you know, unclean they are. And yet Toad is still full. So yeah, I've always felt these episodes are very far-fetched, but they're still good fun. So we've got the Chief Weasel trying to put on this accent as well, trying to sound posh. And what's wonderful is certain words come out overly posh, or he's pronouncing H's where when they shouldn't be. And that's unusual, so you've got a henchman corrected the chief. Very often the other way around, of course. And the henchman would get it in the neck, wouldn't he, or in the foot, or in the shin, of course. I do like the lighting in this one as well. Don't look at the how sunny it looks outside, and yet it's still got that autumn kind of cold look to it. And yet everybody stands out. It's always dangerous when you've got light behind characters in windows like that. So you obviously got to make sure there's enough light on the puppets themselves to get the balance correct. I love this. Arctic Pineapple Corporation. Now this is something that Brian Truman seems to remember very well. I've met him a few times recently, and this one seems to stand out for him. They're absolutely stupid ideas. So the idea of Arctic pineapples. And they come up with even sillier things later in the episode. 5,000 shares.
Actually have that sort of ready money myself. Oh, well, never could take some token.
Very good animation here. It's very very post-apo. Look how Toad's body language. He looks a bit kind of
My Rolls Royce.
like almost protective of himself. The way he's posed in that chair.
Never mind. Come, Edmund. Come,
And
Edmund.
the chief seems to have authority in his posture.
Old boy.
And of course, the henchman got his usual kick there.
Viscount Port Shrigley. What? I knew he was very keen to. No. I'll take them hard. First class.
Very wise.
Well, this is very
Very
wise.
wise.
That's the idea.
Where do I sign?
And now, of course, we go into a montage, and the music is Steamboat Rag, probably my most favourite piece of all the incidentals, and available on that CD. Great piece, and it's written, I think, for parties mostly, but I always remember it in this episode. It's great for suggesting this ongoing thing that the Weasels are now set up, and nice direction of all Toad's valuable possessions just disappearing one by one. Stupid Toad, huh? They've already got his Rolls Royce and they keep leaving with loads of his belongings.
Told you fully.
And of course Badger had to come into it at some point. Look at that shot there, with all his papers there. And we've already got a bare Toad Hall, so look at that painting's missing. Notice the attention to detail where the painting once was, and you've got the kind of the walls are faded around it. It's so true to life, isn't it? If a picture's been there for years and you were to remove it, you get the kind of the original colour of the wall underneath.
As I thought.
Lovely Toad.
Badger's quite right, Toad.
And Toad's dialogue there was very good. His interest rates are interesting.
A fool and his money are soon parted.
I don't know if I've referred to that before, the fact that Badger often says a fool and his money are soon parted. Now, Badger has many slogans, many phrases that become kind of household phrases. You know, any fan of the series will remember Badger's advice to Toad, but that's the one that always sticks, isn't it? The fool and his money are soon parted. I don't know why, it just seems to catch on with the script writing. But it's the one, I suppose, that's the most, you know, apt for Toad, isn't it? It sums Toad up, isn't it? He is a fool and his money soon parts him.
Like the perpetual motion knitting machine company, I suppose. Exactly.
So Ratty mentioned the Perpetual Motion Knitting Company. Obviously another one that he put shares in and failed to get anything back on. I love the direction here as well. Look at the distance between them there. You've got the three Badger Ratty Mole at the end there, Toad on the other end, all his papers around him. And that separation between them is very important. It's very much them and Toad in this one. Which of course you do get in a lot of episodes. When you think back to the very first one, Further Adventures of Toad, where they almost leave Toad Hall and Toad's on his own. And so this kind of echoes that. It's when Toad goes too far, basically, and the others have had enough. And so they should have enough. But look at their body language here. You know, you already got Mole thinking, oh, he still feels bad. He feels bad for Toad. Rat is a bit more sort of suggesting, come on, Mole. But that body language suggests so much, that loyalty to Toad, despite him being an absolute idiot and very rude to them.
Are you sure there's a future in square-wheeled bicycle?
Remember when my dad used to watch this one, he'd always burst out laughing at that line. Square wheel bicycle. And that as well, Mr. Bentwhistle. Very good script this, and very, very well delivered by the actors.
And the natural inability. Instability of round.
Iron Trim, I think, gave himself some good lines in this as the henchman. Well, what a great job Brian Truman had. I mean, he loved writing scripts, that's what he did. The more he did, the more he enjoyed it, I think, and obviously the more experience he got, but he loved doing voices, and he began years back by doing radio plays and things, so he's used to that, he's from that background.
3,500 shares then. That'll be a bit
The way
difficult.
they're leaning into him there, really that sort of threatening presence.
What about the furniture? Oh, but
And that body language of Toad is stroking the chair there, that's really nice. It kind of the suggestion of losing his furniture. He's,
very nice. And it's due. Oh, end of the month, Mr. Toad. End of the month.
now that's what I said about the H has been pronounced. 10th of the month.
Sign, here.
Now that song I mentioned, I always suspected it might have occurred around here,
Yes.
because you've got the weasels going off, and Toad as he's walking away, he's almost singing it there. So I will be a millionaire. That would have been a perfect place for the song. Wonder why it was cut. Like the other one, Toad's Lament, I'm saying that right, from Patient Toad, that was cut. And also a song called Words, which was to be featured in Oberon's Return, also from Series 2. All of them from Series 2 actually, where the songs were cut. And if you think about it, there weren't really any songs from Series 3 onwards, apart from, snippets, Gilbert and Sullivan and so on. But that was it. So they kind of did away with songs once Series 2 was completed. Don't know why that is really. I guess maybe it's to do with money. There's more money, you have to pay composers and so on. And I like the song though. I think
What about them, Toad?
it's they bring a whole music hall feel to it. Look at that poor. So I do feel sorry for him here. It's one of those where I think he's being an idiot, but he's not being. Apart from the last scene, he's not being terribly nasty. He's just being an idiot. He's hoping to be a millionaire. He's like, yeah, it's all to do with greed, but wonderful direction there, where he's clutching to the curtain there, and sat on the floor. There's that separation between them again as well. It's almost like his comfort blanket, isn't it? That blanket, curtain.
Where are they from?
They're from the city, Badger. They're from Bullsford and Carbuncle.
Even that sounds funny, isn't it? The company name, Bullsford and Carbuncle.
They look like Toad.
Well, sort of tall and thin.
I always made me wonder how Mole asked what did they look like. Almost like they're already suspecting it's the weasels.
And will you be seeing them
And then Toad, of course, described them. And anyone as sensible as Badger, Ratty or Mole would surely realise that it's the weasels. So I'm thinking maybe they already know.
Toad Hall?
They already know it's weasels and they're not letting on to Toad. They're kind of letting him see the error of his ways in the hardest way. I believe he needs to learn the hard way. Look at that big wide shot. Look, I don't know where the animators have got in. I guess on the right there. But that's the whole set. You look how tiny Toad looks. It just reminds you of how vast it was. And Terry Brown told me, it was just ridiculously big. And they would have done it differently years later had he, when he had more experience. But absolute beauty, work of art. Now look at this shot here. How Toad looks yellower.
Yes.
It's almost like a later puppet where they made him yellow overall, and then we cut to the next shot. Look at that, completely different paint job. So I wonder if it was just a Toad they were using on another set for another episode. It was just borrowed for that shot while this one was being maintained. Or who knows? Or it was just a cutaway that they did later or something. There we go. So the weasels are cornered, of course.
Oh, thank you, Toad.
Oh, don't mention it, Merly, old friend.
And we've got the music, snakes and ladders in the background.
There's lots to do.
I like that.
How they're putting up the
Kind of
value
the same animation for the two of them going along. It's really nice.
a little hint of jail can do for a weasel's character.
Now, Badger says there, talking about a hint of jail can do for them. Now, of course, we know the weasels never actually end up in jail until we get to the events of the Tally Two Toads, or it suggests that between the Tally Two Toads and the first episode of Series 5, or I Missed a Toad, they've been in jail. And of course, the first episode is the Chief's return. So there's all these hints that the weasels go to jail, but that's the kind of the final straw for all of them, I guess, by that point. Of course, life would be much simpler for them if they had gone to jail, but there's always this kind of understanding between them, I guess, that
Very good year.
I guess it kind of comes back to that thing of the weasels do have a good side. So we've seen that many times, isn't it? Toad reads the pinking now, so he's interested in horse. Another one that's not followed up though. We don't have an episode where he's into horse racing and betting on horses and that. I guess it would have been maybe a similar structure to this one. So there we go. I like that one. It was on the Labyrinth and Other Stories VHS release, a video I was aware of. when it was released, but never actually got it until many years later when I found it on eBay. But of course, like I said before, I first saw it when the series was repeated on Channel 5, and I liked it. I do like it. It's it's not one of my absolute favourites, but yeah, I do like it. It's got some lovely animation in it. I forgot who directed this one actually. Is it Chris Taylor? No, Jackie Cockle, of course. Yes. Yeah, I should have realised. So there we go. Let me know what you think of that one. Interesting to compare it to Hall for Sale and also Bricks and Mortar, which I haven't reviewed yet. I don't know where that stands among those. I always loved Hall for Sale. There's something about that one where Toe goes ballistic in that one and gets really nasty and then feels very upset about it. That one's a bit tamer, Bankruptcy, but I do like it. Really good episode. So there we go. That's that one. Next week, like I said before, it is The Weasel's Trap, which probably has one of the most daring and scary scenes in it. Barry Purvis animated on that one, and he's mentioned it a few times. Won't bring it up now. Bring it up when we look at it, but it's got pretty scary scene in it, and the whole essence of the episode is pretty dark. And of course we had a few like that in the series. And The Weasel's Trap is from series 1, so it's very early on. But yeah, great one to do next week as we're in the thick of autumn now. Halloween approaching as well, so you can probably guess which episode is coming up. Not straight after that, but fairly soon. So thanks very much for watching as always. Please do keep the comments coming and subscribe if you haven't already. Hope you enjoy them, and I shall see you next week for The Weasel's Trap. All the best, see you then.